For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. We're going to start this show with our thoughts on the passing last week of DMX, legendary rapper, first ballot Rap Hall of Famer, a person that dominated the late 90s in a way few rappers have ever dominated their primes. And he was a person that now, looking back on it close to 20 years later, a person that was more like, instead of a ubiquitous figure, more of a comet that just like it just had to shine bright and just like, you know, went by in the span of a night almost. The way he was here and was everywhere, and then, you know, was gone. And as far as his music, I gotta say, Versus was a really fortunate thing. As far as all the terrible things from the last couple of years, people sitting around and watching Versus and it becoming a thing, and seeing people kind of get their flowers for, you know, as we were all saying before anything happened, it's almost like they're, for a lot of ways, almost like the people's induction into a Hall of Fame almost. Like, you're a legend, you were able to have your speech or your sign off or whatever else, people to recognize you, and then after that, maybe it's, you know, some type of like reunion tour or anniversary tours, whatever else, but, you know, this is where people get to give you your love and for a lot of people to see you. And we haven't seen DMX aside from little parts, bits in there and funny things, anecdotes, in a while. And to see him up there with Snoop Dogg and him going toe to toe with Snoop Dogg, who can get damn near any motherfucker on the right day out of there in history of rap, in a versus format, just shows you like what this man accomplished in 5 albums. He'll dearly be missed. He's one of my favorite rappers of all time. He probably, for me, is the first rapper that I truly, like, took an interest in, as far as like being a real fan of his. That was more of it was more based off of the passion and the heart and the sincerity than it was the actual skill as a rapper. Not to say that DMX wasn't a great rapper. He absolutely was. He wasn't necessarily a lyrical miracle like a Kendrick Lamar or Andre 3000, but he absolutely had his own flow. He was a one of one, and it was really sad news to see over the, you know, from I think it was like Wednesday to Friday, and to see the official news that he was gone. It really sucked. Rich, what thoughts do you have on it?
Very sad, man. X is like someone that always seemed like just a real person within the rap game, and you feel like you knew X through how personal he was in his music and how vulnerable he was. The kids that grew up a little bit worse than me like DMX a little bit more than I did, but like. And the reason was always like the same. It was like, you know, we in the hood, we struggling, and, you know, and he's speaking for us or whatever. I liked X kind of on a surface level, like through like a lot of his singles, like, you know, everybody knows him. He died on my birthday, which was kind of like not fun. Here I am celebrating life, and you know, I'm sitting with my little sister Brazil at like a lunch. We're just sitting there talking, and then I get the notification to come through, and like the whole mood changes. And man, I immediately ran back to my recording setup to record like in tribute freestyle to him over to get at me dog beat, because I just felt like, you know, if he died on my birthday, it was the least I can do. And, you know, that's up on my YouTube channel if y'all want to check it out. But like I said, X wasn't like my favorite rapper by any means, but you just see someone that goes through the pain that he went through, and you hear about how he got hooked on, you know, how his drug addiction began. It's really sad, and he's a tragic figure, but at the same time, he's a triumphant figure, because he was a soldier in the war against the shiny suit rap. He was, you know, someone that for that 5-year run that just always had joints, lots of them. And while I was more, you know, down with like the Jay-Z side and stuff like that, like it was just X's voice is just so powerful. I think he obviously, you know, he had his time, and he didn't necessarily adopt well, you know, to how music changed. But I think had he stuck around, he was going to get some type of run. He happened to have been making an album before he died with, you know, a lot of high profile features on it and stuff like that. And I think he was going to get something in the follow up of the verses, because the verses, and we did a you know, big breakdown of it at the time. Y'all can go check it out on the archives if you don't remember.
I'll link to
it. It really reintroduced him, I think, to a lot of people, and introduced him to a lot of people like, yo, how is he standing in there with Snoop Dogg like this? And we always just, every time we saw X, we just hoped nothing would happen to him. And he looked good that night in the verses. And it's something I'll always remember, because I, you know, watched it live as it was happening. And it was just like, these are our legends, and he's only 50. He died at 50 years old, much like Michael Jackson died at 50 years old also. And it's just like the genre of rap is so young still, relatively. It's like Jay-Z's like older than that. Like it could have been anybody. And I know X, like he had the issues like with the OD, he had a heart attack. I believe he tested positive for COVID while he was in you know, hospital care. So it wasn't the easiest end for X, but X is always going to be here through his music. You know, him and Swiss Beats was an electric, you know, combination, much like, you know, a Dr. Dre and Snoop of the East Coast almost. And it was not a good day when I saw DMX died. It just made me sad. And I thought about, you know, times I used to rap over DMX beats back in like 2004, and then knew I had to, like, you know, come with it or else don't do it. So, yeah, man, really sad. And, you know, I feel for, you know, all his people that were around him, his kids, and fans of rap and fans of his everywhere, because his music helped a lot of people get through whatever, you know, they were going through in life in a lot of cases. Yeah.
One of my bigger regrets as a, you know, you get a kid, you become like a teenager, and you try to go to do certain things, whatever else. Like when they did the Up in Smoke tour, I always wanted to go and couldn't go. When they did the Rough Riders Cash Money tour, I always wanted to fucking go. Couldn't go. I was in middle school at that point in time. There was nobody I could really go with. Alex wasn't old enough to, you know, like, you know, be able to drive himself to even do that sort of thing, to where he'd be like, well, I'll go with Alex. I couldn't even like do one of those things with my older cousin. Man, it's really sucked. Like he's absolutely one of those people that you had to have been there, and it's really weird that we have people like him, like 50 years old, and like he's in that same time frame of like the Randy Mosses, the Allen Iversons, these these people that are pretty much children, like Gen Xers, basically after, you know, kids after civil rights pass, and like they're very interesting cases for the humanity of black people in their own way as adolescents, right? Like his story of being the child of a 20-year-old woman and I think an 18-year-old father, and the father leaves, and like the abuse he suffered, and like being in and out of halfway houses and foster, I don't say necessarily foster care, but that sort of stuff, and you know, him being a runaway at times, and like him then resorting to street life, and then drugs, and you know, being a stick-up kid. Like, it's just, it was all in his music. And I never read his book. I know Alex has his book. I remember him telling me, you know, what he took from it at the time. But that was a dude that went through a lot. And that's the thing when we talk about with artists that are so personal about their lives, is like when they give you what they have, and you know, then they don't like necessarily acclimate to the model that we normally expect from people like DMX, like a Lauryn Hill, like other troubled figures, right? And people crack jokes and say what they have to say, and it's like, that person gave you their pain, and it went to the world, and it, you know, helped people or whatever else. And I think that is ultimately what I think of when people, you know, kind of go through it and we're like, what's going on? Is that like the success that they have is enough. Like, it's, if Lauryn Hill never makes another fucking day to a show that she advertises, so fucking what? That's kind of what I'm on right now, and I'm just glad that I got to see the DMX versus thing and show people who were able to show him that amount of love and recognition before, you know, we didn't know it was going to happen, but at least we got that.
I want the footage of the Jay-Z DMX battle that somebody got somewhere, stand on the pool tables. It sucks, man. It just flat out sucks. That someone's life is gonna, you know, end like this at 50 years old. And you know, but it's really hard to talk about because X had a lot of issues, man. So it's like you can't say that you didn't see it coming, or you couldn't think this was a possibility. It's just like, man, we enjoyed X while he was here, and we enjoyed 1998, 1999, 2000. You know what these bitches want. What's my name? Just all the energy, just the energy, and the energy never dies, like the Black Eyed Peas said.
Yeah. I think now we'll just move on to the rest of the show.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid. This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
Hi, this is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fan. That's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Yeah, welcome to One Nation Radio. WrestleMania week. A lot of wrestling. Oh, man.
Yes,
you
sir.
watched more wrestling than I did, actually, which is crazy. Or, because you actually attended a lot of it live. Is there anything you want to give note to before we get into it? Because before we end up forgetting, as far as things you saw live that you want to give shout outs out to or recommend to people?
John Moxley and Josh Barnett at Bloodsport was fucking awesome. Juice, physicality, unplanned moments, shock finish, post match. Go out of your way to see it.
Okay.
For the Culture was a fun overall kind of event. I wouldn't say there were standout matches, maybe except the main event. It was Rich Swann and Too Cold Scorpio. It was really good to see Too Cold Scorpio. He can still actually work and move and do flips and pretty much whatever. I got to meet Rich Swann. I think it was Saturday night. So he, once again, I met Rich Swann back in the day, but kind of got formally introduced to him. Also, there was a guy named Ninja Mac who was in this 5-on-5 match at I think it was the VXS show Saturday night. Absolutely insane high flyer. Get in on the ground floor now. He doesn't look like he should be a high flyer at all. It's just he jumps up there and it's oh my God, he's like a Ricochet Will Ospreay type, flipper. And that he instantly got over with everyone. And but it was kind of a down year for the WrestleMania week stuff. All the stuff was outside at the Cuban Club, kind of a unique venue. I really did like it. But yeah, it was good to see a couple folks, shout out to Tom Batista, got to kick it with him. He wanted to see you too, James. So, I told him James, is in the house. So, also, shout out to Righteous Reg. So ran into him. Shout out to a couple other people. I met a couple of other wrestlers too. I got introduced to, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, I would probably say the Bloodsport stuff, the main event, Moxley and Barnett for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Shout out to Tom. He hasn't been on show in a minute, so
we'll have to get him back. Yeah, about a year.
Yeah. So I guess we move on to WrestleMania. Macro level stuff. Obviously, we know night one kicked the shit out of night two. But what were your thoughts on, I guess, the weekend for the main roster?
I thought this was a very good WrestleMania. Possibly top 10 of all time. I haven't really thought about it, all that close. But I like a lot of the directions. Some stuff I have a question about, but I'm over the moon about the main event of night one. Right. I really liked the main event of night two. The finish was a little heavy-handed for me. But I think, obviously, you can throw the Fiend in the fucking bin. But I would say overall, they showed they have a very deep roster. They didn't rely on, too many, part-timers and old people and all that. And it's they kind of gave us a WrestleMania that we've been asking for a while. Edge was there, obviously. Shane was there, but I think that was it, really. And I think that I kind of like the two night format. I don't know if they're going to continue it. I enjoy not having to watch a 6-hour WrestleMania. And, I think that, they had a good night, a good showing for themselves. And the fans, made a world of difference because they were into a lot of stuff. They were booing some people. They were just giving the show, the life that has been missing.
I like both main events, obviously. Both main events are great. One's a classic, one may be a classic as well. I had like the first two matches on both nights kind of just it wasn't there for me. Like, I know a lot of people liked McIntyre and Lashley, but it didn't grab me at all. And it probably went too long for the first match back, but whatever. The tag stuff with the women's tag stuff was absolutely the worst stuff of both nights. Aside from Fiend,
I think the women's tag turmoil is an all-time bad WrestleMania match.
It is. Second worst match on both nights. It just like the match on night 2 for the tag belts was better than it had any right to be, but it still was like an average match at best. And I'm sure most people would argue that it was below average match. And I'm not really going to argue. It's somewhere somewhere in the high ones and low 2. So whatever. Like, what the fuck are we arguing about? Like, you call it whatever you want. But I really enjoyed the mid card, some of the mid card stuff, like the Rollins match, the Sheamus match, the Owens match. I thought that for this is what we kind of want out of WrestleMania that we haven't been able to get the last few years or haven't gotten enough of. I'm almost at the mind of like, hey, like, we don't have part-timers. Get Shane the fuck out of here. You can absolutely do a 4-hour WrestleMania. Y'all just don't want to do it. Y'all rather do 3 hours of do 6 hours, split it over 2 nights, and like it's like, yeah. But it's like, once you do the 3 hours, like, there's going to be stuff on the card that I just absolutely hate, and I'm going to think you can just cut this shit down even more. Like, when people talk about, do you want a one night, 6 hour things? Like, no, I want a 1 night 4 hour thing. If you don't make the card for WrestleMania, oh fucking well. So, especially when you have that lame ducks SmackDown on Friday, put all them shits that would have been considered that filler, put that fluff on SmackDown with DeAndre, just like they did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my thought. I thought night 1 was one of the better nights in WrestleMania ever. I thought night 2 had 3 matches that I really much enjoyed, and one of the worst matches of all time in the opener, which is like, why would you start with one of the worst matches of all time as an opener? Like, what kind of start the show on a good hot foot? What the fuck is that? That was a bad cold foot.
Fiendism. Yeah, so I guess we can go through individual matches.
Yeah. First match of night 1. Well, let's talk about the rain delay, because they start to show up.
Yes.
They start to show up. We're from Tampa area. Rich probably lives like where you will now. You probably live 30 minutes away. I live 25 minutes away from Raymond James Stadium on the drive in normal traffic. We're from this area. Rain like that happens where you get thunder and torrential downpour for a short amount of time, or for even 2 hours, and then the sun will be out. And like that. That's how it is basically from somewhere around mid-March, late March to October or September. September. Let's say September.
Remember WrestleMania 33? It rained during the day before WrestleMania 2.
Yeah, and it stopped right before. So, and that was Orlando. But Central Florida's nothing to fuck with when it comes to rain. Like, it will happen to you. But yeah, I just thought it was weird that they had to delay the show for 30 to 40 minutes, but could get people into the building to sit the fuck down. They could assemble on the ramp and do all of that and say, hell, welcome back, we missed you, blah, 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 and then say, hey, y'all gotta get the fuck out of here. It's like, how is that? Who was the person that was directing safety for that? Because that makes no sense. If they can all sit there for however long it takes for them to assemble on the ramp and talk and then disperse, that means that what did they get around to do that? That makes no sense.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it that hard, but I found the whole delay thing fucking hilarious because we got to get this highly scripted, highly controlled company out of its comfort zone, and they were sending all these people up to cut these promos and to varying degrees of good.
So which ones do you think were the best? Because like for me, I wasn't watching any of the pre-show. I just turned it on at 7:59 and it started, and then Vince cussed that thing and they told everybody to get the hell out of it. And I was like, huh? So I was like in shock, looking at my phone, and then kind of like not paying attention to the promos that they were doing, but it just looked like they were out there vamping. They were seeing people out there vamp. Just fill time, just basically eat innings. And what do you think of the promos? Who do you think did good? Who do you think did bad?
I think Biggie and Kevin Owens were good. I think Seth Rollins sucked. He didn't have anything to say. Braun Strowman didn't have anything to say. It was just like they was passing that shit around like a cipher. It seemed like.
It seemed to me that they were throwing basically between two locations and two different interviewers. It was like, you're with this person, here to, and then as I'm like, send it to Control, which was like the main announce table, and then send it back to the second interviewer, and then back to and they were passing it back and forth between that. Like it was, I mean, I don't know, like I'm not going to watch that, but
it was funny.
It was fun. Okay. Yeah, that's good, or whatever. At least making the best out of a bad situation. That's I'm glad that some of these people were actually able to show that they can, actually talk on their own without handed scripts or, people telling them exactly what to say. So that's what you want to see. Like, hopefully, some of the people that did good doing this stuff will get more. But it seems like the people that you already know can do it are the people that shine the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, let's get to the first match. Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. What do you think of this match, Rich?
I liked it. Liked the finish too. I was kind of shocked that Lashley retained. Kind of makes the Miz booking look a little weird now.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, like why couldn't Lashley just like win the belt from him? I don't know. Can't be crowning Bobby Lashley here at WrestleMania. Is not his crowning moment. But I liked it. I thought it was a nice heavyweight match, and I'm into the Drew and Lashley pairing.
I was disappointed in this match. Like I liked their match from last year. That was, I think it might have been Extreme Rules. I don't even remember, but like I liked that match better. It was also shorter. It felt like there was no urgency. I did like the finish though, where he gets strapped in the full Nelson. He tries to kick off the ropes for a pin, and Bobby rolls through with it, and he has nowhere to go, so he passes out, and Bobby retains. Like, you know me, I always talk about this all the time. Heels don't have to fucking win by nefarious means all the time. Like, sometimes you can have heels just win, and you can have baby faces just lose, because like you win some, you lose some. Like, it's not some foregone conclusion that the heel or the baby face is better than the heel all the fucking time. Like, sometimes you got to get them something. So the way he lost, given that WWE, makes me think that like McIntyre could be and we'll talk about this later on, but like could be the person that ends up facing Roman on SmackDown later on in the year. But because that felt really like one of those he lost and he's leaving the territory type things that Vince likes to do. So we'll see. But I was disappointed in the match. Maybe I'll watch it back someday and I'll change my mind. But like it wasn't what I was looking for at the time. Next match.
All time bad. Has a 2.92 on Cage Match. Yikes.
The gauntlet match, it was Jesus Christ, it was so many people. It was Riot Squad versus Riot Squad versus Natalya and Tamina versus Dana and Mandy Rose versus, who else am I forgetting? Naomi.
Lana and Naomi.
Yeah, Lana and Naomi.
Billie Kay and Carmella.
Yeah, that's right. Some funny things with entrances. You have Billie Kay holding up the sheet for Carmella, like similar to her big Emelina thing that she was doing.
I was digging Carmella's gear.
Were you digging the? Never mind. What was on her head?
I don't remember.
I'm not. I'm trying to think of how to say this. It made me think she was about to go to sleep.
Oh man!
And I'm not saying it was a bonnet, because it absolutely wasn't. But it was bonnet adjacent. It was something between, like, whatever there is. If there's a thing that exists that is some part bonnet, some part do-rag, that was it. But I don't know what the fuck it was. But anyway, you also, because it was raining and people had issues with humidity and it being slick out there. Mandy Rose, when she comes down, her feet slid from underneath her, and she dropped right on her ass, and she got up embarrassed.
This shit felt like the Wendy Williams, where you saw it happening in slow motion and you knew it was happening or whatever, but you wasn't sure if they was actually gonna fall, but they did.
Yeah. Later on in the night, on Twitter, Mandy Rose posted a backstage thing where she's like, she's sitting there looking cute and looking to the camera, and then Titus walks up on her, and she goes, "You all right?" And I fucking howled, because the Greatest Royal Rumble, when he damn near died, like slipping and running down, slipping and almost hitting his head first into the bottom of the ring. And they made a huge deal about that. Like, it was like, yeah, like, welcome to the club. Welcome. You are now part of this exclusive club. So
my prediction was correct. Natalya and Tamina.
Yes, you were correct. No Naomi, no Lana. Lana will not get her comeuppance on Shayna and Tamina. Yeah, man, this match stunk. It did.
It was horrible. Yeah. It was just bad. Yeah. Like, well, I can't believe I saw. I think it was Sean Ross Sapp say something like, "The Riot Squad can be like this generation's jumping bomb angels if WWE just believes in them." Yes, this is a real tweet that exists. I think people need to stop the lunacy. When I was watching this match, I was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "This is the division that." The AEW women's division isn't better than? Okay, sure. Like, like, I thought this was absolutely atrocious. And, yeah, I'll leave it at that, because, I've turned over a new leaf. I don't want to get too negative here.
Like, you watch that, and then you look at, like, oh, they had Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm tagging together. They have Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart tagging together. They have Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae tagging together. They have, oh my God, what's the small girls? The very, very small girls. Ricochet's girlfriend.
Casey and...
They have Casey and Caden together as a tag team. It's like, all those tag teams, except for maybe the Indy and Indy and Candice one, are better than the tag teams that were in this thing. Like, you didn't think of, like, just throwing them out there. Like, no, Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez couldn't have made this match better. No. Okay, thanks.
They could.
So Ember Moon, I can't make that match better. Anyway, so yeah, Natalya and Tamina won. I think, are they the two longest tenured women's wrestlers in the company, or do we kind of like Mickie James?
I would count Mickie James,
but she left, so so that tenure
left.
Don't the clock,
Yeah, it's got to be Natalya and Tamina in that case.
Yeah. So anyway, they go
serving that demo.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not even going to pretend, but it sounds funny.
Men 35 and up.
So this is Team MILF. This is what you're telling me.
Oh yeah.
This is the MILF team.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Like Mandy and Dana, they hitting a certain demo. The Riot Squad hitting a little, a certain demo. The young like punks kind of, and look, Vince know what he doing.
No, he doesn't, because if that is the... Never mind. All I'm going to say is this. If that is indeed what they're doing, they need to pull Mickey James out of mothballs. What the fuck are they doing? But whatever. We can move on and talk about Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. We've seen them wrestle each other in different situations for the past, or not for that long, but like at different spots of the calendar throughout different years over the years. They're well familiar with each other. They have chemistry. I thought this was another one of their very good matches that they've never had a great match that was a singles match. I felt like this was a very good TV match that if this was in front of a crowd, like this is one of those ones where it's like nothing really matters for a Seth Rollins match until you get to the Falcon Arrow. And then they had the Falcon Arrow, and then they did work on Cesaro's arm, and he was having trouble with doing all this Superman stuff. So eventually that was the thing. Like, is he going to Hulk up and power out through the pain and spin him around? And sure enough, that's what happened, and he ended up getting the win. I didn't think this was some super match, but a lot of people did, and I was surprised. I may have to go rewatch this given the score. Like, I have to think about it, because like Josh loved it. A lot of other people, loved it a lot. So I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't think it was some like super duper match or anything. I think people were really just happy about Cesaro winning personally, and that's boosting it up for him. But it was cool to see his UFO and all that. But I thought it was just a good match, a nice solid match to fill out the card. And I think WrestleManias need those. Yeah,
like that's what we rave about. Like, you think of like WrestleMania 31, like that Seth Rollins and Orton match, where it's like you need like the 10-minute banger, and this was one of those matches. I think this went a little longer than that, but like okay, so it went about 12 minutes. But like that match, the Riddle match, the Kevin Owens match, you need those matches to like buoy what hopefully is a main event that knocks out the park. And both nights had the main event that knocked out the park. You just wish you had a little bit more of these, or if you wish like all of that stuff was all on one card and you say this is like the greatest fucking WrestleMania ever.
The only thing is, Cesaro getting a win here, I don't know what it means. It may mean nothing. So it's, I don't trust them. So
it's Cesaro. It's
he's 40. Like I mean, like bro, like everybody's like going nuts over this shit. It's like, bro, how long has he been in WWE?
Right,
like,
since 2012 at least.
Like,
he's been on main roster since 2012.
Like, this is not no new person. Like, this is like, man, won a mid-card 10-minute match at WrestleMania.
Right.
Cool it.
Yeah, like, I'm not, I don't watch the show to figure out if this is going to happen. I'm just watching their big show. So, but I will say, like, it did what it was supposed to do for me. Like, I had fun watching it, and, like, whatever they do with that is like, well, if they screw it up, it's like, were you shocked? Right? Like, if I'd be more surprised, quite frankly, if he was a person that's, like, has the next program with Roman Reigns on SmackDown.
That's where I go.
Could be. Could be. Because it's like, you got him, some wins. He beat Daniel Bryan before. He has his match with Seth Rollins. He beats a former or future Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer type person. Put him out there to get screwed over by Jey Uso and get choked out. Yeah, like come go get screwed by the tribal chief. And then also they could do the tag matches on TV, like him and Roman and Jay with Cesaro and Shinsuke. So or Shin as the overfamiliar Michael Cole calls him. So like, yeah, that could be a program. They could absolutely do that. Next match, AJ Styles and Omos versus the New Day.
Look, we need to. I was talking to Dave Finishow. We need to change his name to Almost the Giant and quit playing.
Omos the Giant. Sure, why not? Yeah, man. Like, this match reminded me of the Dusty Cup final from Valentine's or Vengeance Day, where you have a heel team and a babyface team. On the heel team, you have this dominant force, and basically they work in the match in reverse where the babyface is getting heat on this heel, because they don't want to let the monster get out the cage, because if the monster gets out the cage, it's a L. In similar fashion, like they beat the hell out of Dakota, they beat the hell out of AJ, and once Raquel and almost got in, the tables turned quickly, and they were dominant, and they beat the shit out of people, and it was fun. Like, obviously Raquel did more than almost did, but when you are that size, you ain't got to do much. We saw this a couple weeks ago with
everything
Shaq.
Everything almost did was a meme,
right?
Like everything, like he was fucking hilarious.
Yes.
Like it was, you started hearing him talk a little bit, and then you would see him like move his head, and he just won over the people.
Like for months, we knew he had, because of his size and the fact that he was so stoic of a figure. We knew that he had presence. It felt like it was there, right? He also dressed pretty nicely, right? Mm-hmm. But once he got into the ring and you saw the charisma, we were like, "Oh, it's on!" Like it. I don't give a damn how good of a wrestler he is yet. If you can protect him, you can keep him and have him wrestle maybe like, 5 times a year, 4 times a year. There's no reason why they can't treat him how they treated like the early Strowman, like the 2017 Strowman at the beginning. Like, you can do that and have some nice, stuff with him and fun things to do with him on TV with crazy acts of strength and everything else, and make him bigger than life. You can absolutely do that with him. They did it with Strowman. They can do it with him.
He's got charisma. So what I would do is lock him in a room and make him watch Psycho Sid vicious tapes as much as possible.
Like for promos?
No, just overall, like, presence, and like Sid was, surprisingly coordinated with the right opponents, and I think he just had it. Like, if you put some of that Sid into him, and I think we can get something very enjoyable out of Omos, even if it's just funny.
I don't want Omos picking up anything from Sid that ain't got that has to do with anything in the ring. If it's promos, if it's
charisma,
if it's showing how to be a heater, that sort of thing, to try to figure out how to connect to the crowd, sure. But bell to bell, absolutely not. Stay away. Don't look. This is why they shut down. This is why they shut down the network. This is why you can't get to none of this shit on Peacock. Vince is like, oh no, he might learn the wrong things. Shut this shit down. So, yeah, man. Like, I think they're gonna have a nice. They're gonna have some nice things to do with him in the future. He's been around since what, Raw Underground, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, this has been building towards that. So, we often, rightfully give WWE shit when they don't figure out how to handle certain things. They handle this appropriately. This was one of the better things of both shows, in my opinion. They might have somebody in. You have AJ. He's going to be in this role and doing this thing, and it's going to be easy for him, and he can keep raking in that cash. Good for AJ Styles.
Yeah.
And AJ Styles, for all them years, stuck around Dixie Carter and that bullshit. Like, this man is like these last 5 years
backing up the Brinks. Yeah,
man. The game has completely came to AJ Styles over the last 5 years. like you talk about like trying to think of somebody. Okay, so you look at Sheamus, right? Like, you look at how Sheamus has performed now, or this year, right? How he's had a renaissance by basically wrestling, basically a faster paced version of like what he's always been. It's because like the game in wrestling, what people really like in wrestling, has came to him. Like, as far as like the connections and the things that AJ Styles did, like, it's all came to him. Like, he's always gonna have leverage to make millions of dollars on WWE. He can be in WWE forever. He's the first Battle Hall of Famer based off of all stuff he's already done. He's always gonna be featured or whatever else. He ain't even gotta kill himself like he was doing those first 2 years in WWE anymore. He's got it made in the shade. He can put his feet up. He's on vacation now.
Yeah, he's yeah.
He won.
We know what's going on.
Right. So next match, Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon in a you dumb motherfucker cage match.
God damn it!
This match stunk.
Yeah,
it had 3 spots, but outside of that, this match stunk.
Yeah, bro. I offer no analysis on this. Like, like fuck out of here. Like, I'm not analyzing no Shane McMahon match.
They jumped them with Jackson Riker and or they jumped Strowman with Jackson Riker and Elias.
WrestleMania checks.
right before Strowman got into the ring, they hit him with chairs. They targeted his leg. Shane tried to work the leg, but Shane is a backyarder, so it wasn't that effective. Plus, Braun's a monster. Shane tried to escape at one point. Actually, was out of there and was halfway down on the other side of the cage before he wanted to stupidly stick his hand out there and wave by. He's looking at Braun Strowman. I guess he didn't realize Braun Strowman was getting up and walking towards him. Braun Strowman grabs his hand. And then snatches him, and then he rips off. He rips down the cage from the outside in, pulls Shane back into the ring, takes Shane up to the top, and then he choke throws Shane. Shane goes spinning and lands on the floor, and then Braun, instead of escaping or walking out the cage after he's already gotten rid of Riker and Elias, just says, "Yeah, I know you just fell 15 feet or whatever else. Fuck that. Or 16 feet. Fuck that. Hold his power slam. He beat that man with his finish. Triple H politics there. Outstanding work." So Braun, I guess this is Braun Big's win at WrestleMania for his career now. That's his biggest win.
We talked about how goofy AJ Styles' WrestleMania career is. Yeah. Like, Braun Strowman's is like
Nicholas.
Another level. Yep. A whole nother level. Yep. Like getting completely left off for no reason. Put in an Andre for no reason. Teaming Nicholas. With children.
Yes.
Shane McMahon.
Beating Goldberg out of nowhere.
Yes, beating Goldberg, yes. For the belt. Like, what the fuck? Like you write that down on paper and you're like, all right, man. Right. Who, like in comparison to someone like Triple H, for example, or Shawn Michaels, it seemed like they've got, all this makes sense, but then like it's like, hold on, they booked these 5 years in a crack house, like there's no other explanation,
bro. 5 years, we're gonna have to explain to whatever new fans there are that like, or to people that like, Braun Strowman was like one of the hottest acts in the world in 2017, and people were like, what? I don't believe it.
Bro, and the thing is, now he's in even better shape now, and it doesn't fucking matter because they ruined him.
Yeah.
Choo choo, motherfucker! Like,
So, celebrity tag team match: Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus The Miz and John Morrison. To be quite honest with you, I did not know what night this match is going to be on. So when I saw Bunny's run down to the ring, my first thought was Adam Rose, and then I thought, oh my god, is this part of the Fiend's entrance? And then it turned out that it is Miz doing his parody fake reggaeton thing, like very similar to what he did a year ago with the Street Profits, I believe. And it whatever, it stunk. Damian Priest came down, and then Bad Bunny showed up.
Looked like a fucking star.
Brought the semi through like on some Diesel, Stone Cold Steve Austin Big Show shit. So,
came out to some crank.
I think is that the Booker T song?
I think it was just the instrumental, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that beat's hard. Came down, and they had the match, and the match starts out where Bad Bunny's in the ring. And he's in there and they get heat on him. And the funny thing is, like, Miz, people talk about how Miz is, looks like he doesn't belong or whatever else. And I'll talk about his skills, but like, Miz at the end of the day is for an average person, is a big dude, right? So when you have him in the ring with Bad Bunny, you also have Morris on the side, and them two dudes are very good physiques for the average human being, especially Morris. Morris looks like a Greek god. And you have Bad Bunny, who is small. It was like, look at this random person in here with these two actual wrestlers. So it was a weird, obviously it was just the physique differences stood out to you. So like, for me, the heat worked. I thought Bad Bunny threw bad punches, But the match kept going. They kept doing more things. Like, okay, now like the training and whatever they've been going over is actually coming into place. And basically it was all to set up a hot tag for Damian Priest. Damian Priest runs wild, and he traded some near falls like it was in doubt, and then ultimately by the end you end up with Bad Bunny outside of the ring with John Morrison, and John Morrison puts him on his back and he Canadian destroys himself, and everybody looks shook and shocked because like I guess people don't really recognize like what that move is when people do Canadian destroyers. Like, nah, the person that's getting it done to him is doing it to themselves more than it is anybody doing anything. But whatever, it was impressive. Damian Priest lays out Miz. I think he ends up tagging in Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny ends up hitting I think it's a splash for the win. For celebrity WrestleMania thing, this is on the upper echelon of celebrity matches in WrestleMania history.
So I saw the entrance, and then like I fell asleep until the very end. I did see the Canadian Destroyer forward, but everything I'm hearing, it was like a very enjoyable moment.
Yeah,
I think
it wasn't Rousey. It wasn't Rousey by any means. It wasn't even close because Rousey was out of this world. But compared to like people like Snooki or trying to think of other people we've had out there. Let's say like Jay Leno or whatever else. Like for our celebrities and matches, this is one of the very best we've ever had. So like. It's been a good year for that with wrestling. Between the Shaq shit with Bad Bunny is like a lot of Rookie of the Year candidates for the Observer.
So I hear they've already started like deconstructing Damian Priest on Raw already. So yeah, so I think he lost to like a distraction roll up or some shit like a geek tonight. So they just couldn't wait. As soon as Bad Bunny was gone, So
apparently Damian Priest was injured, so that's the reason why the match was billed as a singles match at first, even though originally it was supposed to be a tag match. They didn't know if he was actually going to be able to make it, and he actually got cleared, I guess, this weekend. So that's why, like, if you look at
good for him,
when you see like the on the stadium, it actually had Bad Bunny, Priest, and then Miz and Morrison, and on it listed it said Bad Bunny with Damian Priest, Miz versus Miz with John Morrison, because they didn't know what it was going to be. So, but it was nice wording because it could have been either or. So I'm glad they kept themselves open for that situation to make it work out. And here we go.
I think I undersold it, but like I said, Bad Bunny felt like a fucking star during his entrance.
Yeah. Happy for him. Remember, this is a dude that has shown love to pro wrestling for a long time. Like, he in these music videos years ago, he'd be out there with Eddie Guerrero Latina Heat shirt on, and like you mentioned, the Booker T
having Flair in the video.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, like that was that back when even like Flair was doing like the Migos stuff too. So this is like maybe like 2018
before
shit.
That.
Yeah. So yeah, like he's been doing this for a long time. I remember when he had Undertaker on one of his promo commercials or tour commercials. Talking about, you need to come out with number 3. I was like, what the fuck does Undertaker know about Bad Bunny at the time? But, whatever. But I'm happy for him. This dude that, has shown love, and they showed it back. And this is one of the success stories of that kind of relationship of celebrity and, WrestleMania and WWE. Like, it worked. For months, it worked. So, now let's get to it. The SmackDown Women's Title match between Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Boy, a great fucking match. This is the best women's match in WrestleMania history. There's not even close. Not even close. Not even close. One of the greatest WrestleMania main events ever.
Yep. I'm 5 stars on it, and I don't give a fuck. I thought this was a Sasha Banks masterpiece leading around Bianca, who more than held her own physically. I think Sasha's sealed up the greatest woman to ever wrestle in this company. I think she, like, this was just a flat out classic. They didn't do any like overly long bullshit drama at the end. It was 17 minutes in and out. Insane pace in the match, great spots, and it was a masterful performance, and I couldn't have been more proud to watch it. And having met Bianca Belair once, and I pretty much told her, I was like, thank you for being you, and we need you. And she seemed like she knew exactly what I meant. We share a birthday, so it was just after her birthday, like one day later. So I was very excited to see her, get that chance. She had never been in a position like that. We talked about it as far as even being on pay-per-view as a single. WrestleMania main event, that's a whole nother level of pressure, and it just worked out. And I think Sasha just really I feel like I can talk about Sasha romantically almost now, just like the legend that this, I feel like, made her. And she's 0-6 at WrestleMania now. But it almost doesn't, you don't even think about it now, with that, at least with this match, because it's it just felt so big and so right. And it, like I said, it was everything I wanted.
It absolutely sucks that she's 0-6 at WrestleMania. However, she was in, 2 of the 3 greatest WrestleMania women's matches of all time. So, it's not like she's out here just getting Roadhouse, right? She's in these things and she's putting people over. And yes, I would have loved her to have her moment times 3 by now. But as far as being the wins column in kayfabe, but there's still time. Remember, she's not even 30 yet. I think she's 28, whatever, or 29. I can't remember. But me and you, in 2017, watched and covered the Mae Young Classic. In the first main event of the first show, of the first episode, was Kairi Sane versus Bianca Belair. And
second round. The second round was their match.
You're right.
The first one was Kairi versus Tessa.
You're right. Second round. Because Bianca beat somebody up really quick. I'm sorry. So one of the main events was of one of the episodes was Kairi versus Bianca, and they had a great fucking match at that point in time, and that was Bianca's first match televised. And she had to play the hill because she was much bigger than Kairi, and she beat on her, and she used the hair whoop, and Kairi sold like crazy because I bet that shit hurt. But either way, at that point in time, I think she dropped at 450 in that match. I think Kairi may have moved out the way, or she kicked. I can't remember, but you saw it. It was all there, and you saw the strength on display. And Kairi ended up, that ended up being her run of matches, and then she ended up in the final. And you go to a year later, or not even a year later, when they went to Evolution. So when they went to Evolution, they when they were showing people from the Mae Young Classic that first year, the stars or whatever else, they made sure to show. I'm screwing up years. I'm sorry. The final that was after that SmackDown where Stephanie where Kevin Owens headbutted Vince, when they had the final of that night. And they showed people that were like the stars that were sitting ringside didn't advance to the final for Kairi versus Shayna. They made sure that they had Candice LeRae and Mercedes Martinez and maybe Viper, maybe Toni Storm, but Bianca Belair was definitely there. To let you know, these were the people that we gave stuff for you to remember throughout the tournament, and they worked out to perfection as far as from a booking standpoint. You go to a year later with Evolution, the Mae Young Classic people that were there, the NXTers, they made sure that Bianca was there. Even though she didn't have a match on that fucking card, they made sure that she was there, and she wore that pink pantsuit. I remember because when they at the end of the night, when when Ronda had beat Nikki, and she ran up with the crowd and celebrated with everybody, you could see Bianca there because she was looking and she was in that pantsuit. They have had her in these places and known the potential, known the athleticism, known the promise and the charisma and the promo and the personality. They have known for a long fucking time. I halfway think that she didn't win the NXT Women's title because of how Vince is when it comes to not wanting to book things the way that Triple H booked them and being nutso. Anyway, she last year in the Rumble, or 2 years ago in the Rumble, set the eliminations record. This year wins it. They did a lot of nothing with her on the main roster for a while, and I was very concerned about her future outlook on what this was. And then she won the Rumble, and then this build sucked. It absolutely did. It don't matter once you go out there and put on 4.5 plus. It don't matter after that. It's for the annals. It's one of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history. I feel like I kind of put it on that same tier as the Daniel Bryan and Kofi match, where it's just perfection in the ring, well paced for a WWE match, has all the signature story beats of the veteranness in the ring. Like that Kofi Daniel Bryan match is very much a Daniel Bryan match through and through, the same way this was a Sasha Banks match through and through. And then you throw in the part where the other person, the babyface, just, not only say he has to just show up, but she showed so much athleticism, so much promise, and the whole match was Sasha got desperate after she realized she couldn't young girl her, she couldn't big sis her, she couldn't out vet her, and she started grabbing for Bianca's hair. And then by the time you get to the end of it, and she even wrapped her up in the hair trying to do the bank statement. And by the time you get into it, she tried to get to the hair again, and Bianca was like, no, I'm done with this. And she unleashes that hair whip that we talked about earlier. The first time we saw her, she used. That she hasn't really been, that she's been saving a lot over the years. Only for special occasions she ever bring that thing out. She hits that's probably the loudest one I ever heard. And then she hits her up with the KOD. It was a great match. Like, the part where they tease or not tease, but like she could beat her with a 450, where she goes to 450, Sasha gets the knees up, she goes up again, and in my mind,
she hits it the second time.
She hits it the second time. In my mind, I was like, they're kicking out. I knew they're like, she's going to hit it this time and kick out. And sure enough, they kicked out. That was just great storytelling. It's like, we're rationing this up to another level. Like, once you build that, like, she has to get the knees up to avoid the thing, you know that, like, that could very well end the match. That was expertly done. It's a great Sasha Banks match. I think it's the second best Sasha Banks match that I've ever seen. I hold the Bayley and Sasha match from Brooklyn in super high regard, especially because of that finish. That finish is like one of the best finishes I've ever seen in wrestling. But and I also love the arm work. But yeah, this was a great match, and like, we're off to the race with Bianca. They may have not done well with her before, absolutely have not, but after a match like that, you got a new lease on life. You really do. And who knows what they do in the future, but like, if they screw it up, they screwed it up, because they did everything they could to go out there and show you, like, this is a star, this is the future. And I think that's one of the reasons why this pay-per-view, as you mentioned beforehand, like, it feels like fresher, because, like, with her, with Rhea, with Bobby, with getting Miz in, I'm sorry, not Miz, but getting Edge, Daniel Bryan, and like Shane out of there in a way, it's more like turning over the core. Like, maybe Daniel Bryan's always gonna be a staple, but like, it seems fresher without having like the slog of like Triple H and Undertaker and Shane and whoever else show up, Brock. So yeah, this is definitely at the end of night one, I was like, this is a really good show. This is like the best WrestleMania in just at least like 31.
31.
At least 31. So that night. So then it's time for night two.
Yeah, but I hope they have proper opponents lined up for her, or else, we've seen this movie before. So please give her proper opponents. Please don't fuck it up. Yeah, you got a chance.
Like, this is your first start that you've have cemented post or women's star that you've cemented post Asuka and Horsewoman. So like, don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. It's only you now. I mean, obviously they're gonna fuck it up because they fucked it up with all 4 of the horsewomen. But you might be point, like, or 3 of the 4 horsewomen at different points. But it's like you have her up and running. Like there's gonna be goodwill extended towards her for forever. Don't fucking abuse that. So, yeah, let's move on to night 1. Randy Orton.
Randy Orton versus the Fiend. Randy Orton in the white gear. Liked it.
Yeah.
That's about all I liked.
I liked it, and then he came down to the ring, and I felt like it was literally the slowest he ever rocked down for any WrestleMania entrance, and I was like, he's doing this on purpose, this asshole. I love it. So,
I skipped that part.
His entrance might have been like 5 minutes. It might have been 5 minutes long.
Glad I watched it the next day.
Maybe I'm exaggerating, but like I guarantee you it's longer than 3 minutes.
So they were just hitting loop on the Voices song.
So, yeah, like I saw the white gear and I thought to myself, oh God, he's going to do the goo thing and like it's gonna get on the white gear and it's gonna be similar to like you wear white gear when you blade or bleed or whatever else. But it didn't happen. Alexa comes down. There's a box. I'm sorry, as Michael Cole calls it, a box-like structure down just up against the ring. I don't know why the ref ain't say get this a fuck away from the ring. Whatever. It's a Jack in the Box. Alexa spins the box or pulls the lever over and over and over. Up comes Bray Wyatt through the top of it. I'm looking at it. I was like, is he going to get down? I was like, oh, let me guess. He's going to jump off onto Randy Orton. Sure enough, jumps off the Randy Orton. The red light is back, everybody. They end up outside the ring, end up back inside the ring. Like, Randy Orton hits like 3 different draping DDTs. I don't know. There was a spot where I think there was a back suplex by Orton, and then it was funny because, we've been talking about this with Edge and talking about people like eating suplexes and just not selling it, and then the conversation I had with Josh about like, and we ultimately came to the conclusion that like, if you delayed sell, that's still selling, and then ultimately it's like, well, so he's only talking about like a very small percentage of people. He hits Orton hits the Fiend with one of those back suplexes, and he just rolls and gets right the fuck up. Not a scratch, unscathed, nothing hurts me. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Alexa Bliss shows up on top of the Jack in the Box with a crown on her head. There's goo that's pouring from the crown as actual, obvious practical effect. She reaches her hand out. The Miz is fucking. I'm sorry. The Fiend is distracted by his own fucking. I don't know. Manager, valet. Orton turns around. I think he hits the RKO and gets the win or something. Orton wins, gets the fuck out of there, and then like we never see the Box or the Fiend or Alexa again for the rest of the night. It was just like, what the fuck is this?
So Alexa squirted goo and like Bray like looked, and even he, a demon, devil, fire burnt person, cannot escape the distraction finish. This is the crystallization, if it hadn't been clear already, that Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton is the worst pairing in WWE history. Not 1, but 2 all-time bottom of the barrel WrestleMania matches to go with everything else they've ever done with each other. And I'm talking the fight in the abandoned house. I'm talking
House of Horrors.
The House of Horrors match. The black goo, the fucking the fire burns match. Like, get them the fuck away from each other. Get Bray Wyatt off of my screen. Fire him. Like, I get no enjoyment out of this. This is completely embarrassing when someone walks in the room. This is the absolute zero of wrestling. This is bullshit. Like, this is and like I said, I'm not trying to be like too negative about a lot of things here, but this, like, none of this stuff means anything. It's not some overarching story. It's not creative. It's just shit that's happening. It's trash.
Bray Wyatt debuted on the main roster at SummerSlam 2013. From that point to now, he has yet to pay off any major thing he has ever teased or hinted at. Small things, sure. Major things, not one. He is, as I figured it out, and I was correct on, I take a victory lap on.
Immediately.
Almost out the gate. He is a J.J. Abrams mystery box motherfucker. He gives you stuff for you to think is leading somewhere, and then instead of ever giving you answers, he gives you more fucking questions, or he gives you the next question, and you idiots. I'm sorry, I normally don't do insults, but you fucking morons, and I'm really talking about the Fiend avatars. You goddamn goofballs have fell for it hook, line, and sinker for the last 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, for going on 7.5 years. Stop it. He has, for every good match he's ever had, he has 4 shitty ones.
Like all time terrible. Like,
and if I'm
like fuck off matches.
And if I'm being hyperbolic, I'm sorry. I mean, he has 3 shitty matches for every good match he's ever had. He is one of the worst wrestlers I've ever seen. I'm sorry, like, he is absolutely one of the best talkers of this generation. He absolutely is. But the stuff he is talking about and delivering is bullshit and nonsense and has no payoff. It has no destination. And it's nonsense. It's been that case for years. And I think for a lot of people, especially even like the WWE apologists, like, it's becoming more, like you said, crystallizing. It's over with, bro. The Fiend has not been intriguing since the Hell in a Cell in 2019. That was 18 months ago, when they had a fucking ref stoppage in the Hell in a Cell match, and then they got mad at us. He ruined Seth Rollins. He put the nail in the coffin on Seth Rollins' babyface possibly ever again. And now he's doing this as a thing now. The team leader, fake guy, whatever he is. Like, I don't know. Like, he has left Seth Rollins in the mud. He has hurt literally everybody except for the absolute Teflon like Daniel Bryan in the mud over the last almost 2 years.
Remember what he did to The Miz?
He teased and threatened Miz's daughter. And then Miz showed up to TLC 2019 by coming down to the ramp and hitting his fucking pose. And I said, fuck this. And I left from Tampa at Jeremy and Josh's, which is what, a 20-minute drive from, or roughly 20-minute drive from my shit, and drove home and said, fuck it, I'm good. Like, bro, he breaks everybody. He breaks all conventions of common sense or A to B storytelling. It's just bad. It's just bad. It's just doing shit.
Jay-Z once said, just because you don't understand him don't mean that he nice. Like, that's how I always feel about Bray Wyatt.
Right. Remember when it was like, people were saying like, oh, well, he's fundamentally changing everybody in this and the third. It's like, well, how about it now? Randy Orton's still fucking Randy Orton.
Right. Right. What did he change about Orton? His ring gear?
If you come out here and you, like, this is a lesson to be learned. If something sucks off rip in WWE,
chances are
probably 19 out of 20 times in the future is also going to suck. So if you come out here and you say, well, like Rance, when Rance got screwed over by Vince, Jinder Mahal's story is that he has illusions of grandeur, and the Singh brothers save him, and that's why he can talk about that shit. Until he comes out here and he beats Shinsuke Nakamura clean in the fucking middle with his move. If you come up with something to explain their bad storytelling, they will eventually embarrass you.
Yeah, man. A horrible match.
Yeah.
A an absolutely absurd visual. And
I looked last night,
I hope we never see them again
together. Absolutely. And I said last night that I never want to see Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar share screen time ever again. I'm putting Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton higher on that list. I never want to see these two people interact with each other ever fucking in life.
Yeah, like I don't want to see, like, when they're going into the WWE Hall of Fame. I still don't want to see them on camera together. Like, no, like fuck out of here,
like y'all can't sit like one row in front of each other, bro. You can't.
Right, y'all got to sit on opposite sides of the building.
So, oh man, so yeah, next match, the women's tag team title match between Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax versus Tamina and Natalya.
You know what? It wasn't as bad as one would think it would be on paper.
It was a lot better than I thought it was. I thought that Tamina as his babyface powerhouse was surprising, and the crowd took to her in a way that I was not expecting. I thought this match was laid out in a way to where Tamina kind of more or less had one of the better matches of her entire career that I've ever seen. But ultimately, this match was only had anything going for it when Shayna was in. I thought Shayna and Natalya, they had good chemistry. I think that also helps when like Shayna just like, hey, I'm just gonna hit you. I'm just gonna knee you. I don't care. And you know, there was a lot. I thought that, you know, very similar to most of the stuff with this Nia and Shayna tag team. When Shayna's in, it works pretty well. When Nia's in, it doesn't really work. There's no, I don't think there's any way to talk about their match without discussing that part. I'm trying to think. I forgot what the finish was. I forgot.
So Natty put the wrong person in the sharpshooter.
That's right.
Blind tag, Kirifuda clutch.
It wasn't a blind tag. That's right. Natalya is looking dead at Shayna. I'm sorry, dead at Nia. Right? Who was the person she put the sharpshooter on? I'm pretty sure it was Nia.
She put it on Nia.
She's looking dead at Nia. Shayna is behind Nia. Shayna blind tags Nia, and by blind tag I mean blind for Nia, not for Natalya, who's staring dead at Shayna and also sees the ref clap saying tag, meaning a tag was just made. She attacks Nia, tries to put her in a sharpshooter. I'm pretty sure Shayna just kneed her and then put her to sleep, right?
I think she just jumped on her back.
Yeah, okay, she jumped on her back with a Kirifuda clutch and choked her out. Yeah, and that was the end of the match. Like, very similar, or not very similar, but like similar in fashion to the thing that made me just like hate or dislike the Young Bucks versus Jericho and MJF match, was like, these wrestlers do not have a 10 degree or 15 degrees field of vision. Like, this is bullshit. Like, I want y'all at home to put your thumbs in front of your ears. And I want to see how that narrows your field of vision. That is the most I can suspend my disbelief that a person can't see around them, even though I know they have the same peripheral vision that I do. These people don't have football helmets on, and they should still be able to see this shit.
Right.
It drives me nuts. But whatever. That was the finish. It was better than it had any right to be, but it was still at best aight. Next match after that.
Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn.
Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. They showed a video package, and basically, like, it's almost like a weird take on like the Bret Hart '97 heel turn, where like he complains about everything, but instead of like being rightfully screwed over, it's like this dude says it's a conspiracy, and I don't mean like our true conspiracy. He's just like he's just whining and bitching and moaning, and Kevin Owens like stop bitching and moaning, and then he brings
what I saw someone summarize this as like a guy who seen his best friend go nuts like on some QAnon shit. Like that's what this is.
That's excellent. The election was stolen. Bro, no it wasn't. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yep.
That's excellent. So yeah, like he's going nuts, and Kevin was like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, and you know, it also helps that like Sammy has like on purpose, obviously, letting his hair grow, letting the beard grow out. He looks more disheveled and less groomed. It looks more like,
bro. If I was Sami Zayn, I wouldn't have showered the night before, like just to get the effect over.
Hey,
look, he may not have. Look, he may not have.
They don't smell you on TV. Like a lot of funny quotes have been floating around over the like famous rap quotes or behind the scenes quotes have been floating around, especially DMX. But I saw one where someone asked Pimp C why when they were filming in Miami, why they were filming the video for Big Pimpin', why that man had that chinchilla on. He was like, it don't get cold. They said like it's Miami, whatever. It's like there ain't no weather on TV, man. Like look, look, like you can't smell Sami Zayn if he actually was out here stanking. So don't even bother doing it. Just wash your ass. Just wash your ass, Sammy. But yeah, man. They went in there. Also, you had the Logan Paul thing where Logan Paul was going to take Sammy's video or movie seriously. Is like a documentary. Very similar. It's almost like they're making fun of Michael Moore as well. As far as conspiratorial stuff. Anyway, match. This is a very good match. It reminds me very much, like I was talking about, all the parallels between like the Ray and Eddie stuff and this. It's like they had a very good, enjoyable match. Like it is not their best match in WWE. I still think it's honestly, it's still like the Takeover stuff and also the their Battleground 2016 match, but it had, it gave you a lot of the stuff you expected out of them. They did crazy shit. Like there was a suplex onto the apron from Kevin Owens. I'm like, bro, you're already made. You ain't got to do this no more, Kevin. And why are you always jumping off shit or getting suplexed or something crazy? But yeah, like ultimately at the end, Kevin Owens ends up winning. It was a really fun match, and I enjoyed it for what it was. But at the end,
yeah, I liked it.
The post match. Oh, actually, yeah. You had any more thoughts on you just liked it or no?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was just I think they came out of the gates like they were like, yeah, man, y'all got less than 10 minutes, so they just let it fly.
Yeah. So after the match, Logan Paul is ignoring Sami Zayn to put over Kevin Owens. He raises Kevin Owens' arm. Arm of victory. Kevin Owens looking at their arm, and then the crowd is like, give it to Logan Paul, because obviously the crowd was already booing Logan Paul because he is a divisive fixture of the internet. He's also a fixture too. Like he's actually like he's big time. He's not just a figure, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, but
yeah.
So yeah, like the crowd is saying like, they're booing him, and then like Kevin Owens took his arm, looking at the crowd, and they're like, "Oh, he's about to stun this man." And sure enough, he boots him. He pretends like he's gonna hug him. He boots this man or give him a high five. Boots this man, gives him a stunner. Logan Paul sells that shit like a snapmare. That shit was fan-fucking-tastic. That man flopped like a damn fish. So yeah, I really enjoyed the match, as I said, but. Yeah, next match after that, you end up getting Sheamus versus Riddle in a match that a match that like is very much unlike pretty much any match you ever see on WrestleMania. Like Sheamus and Riddle basically had like the match you expect to see from them if they were both in NXT or like in New Japan. They beat the shit out of each other, hard strikes, hard chops. knees, elbows at different points, clubs and forearms. I had a blast watching this match.
Yeah, hilarious segment with Riddle and the Great Khali and Rob Van Dam ahead of this. Rob Van Dam has his own rolling papers. I did not know this.
Makes sense though.
Yeah, I can't think of something that's much more on brand. Gives Riddle the rolling papers. I'm all for RVD being Riddle's like spiritual godfather.
Oh my god!
You know, he goes to see him, and they solve Riddle's problems over some weed. But yeah, Sheamus and Riddle, as we mentioned, Sheamus has been on a tear of late, and I don't know, maybe they're going to lift Riddle to a higher position.
Could be. Yeah, so one thing I want to note about this match is I remember years ago Seth Rollins talked about his match with Orton at WrestleMania 31, how he came to him about the idea of doing the curb stomp to the RKO, and Orton was like, man, I don't know, Orton ain't trying to fuck up nothing in his matches. So and I think he said on like the day of, he's like, man, screw it, let's do it. And that's why, like, when he did it, that's why Orton lost his shit when it worked. Sheamus, I don't know what's gotten to him this year, but I've enjoyed it. But the spot he tried to do with Riddle, where he tried to give him a white noise when he was on the outside, he's basically on the second rope on the outside facing in, and he tried to basically do one step up on the top rope and then basically get both feet and then drop in. He never thinks of trying no shit like that like 5 years ago. It's not even something he's even considering. It's almost like he's got new lease on life since like coming back from the neck thing. Like he's emptying the gun, Sheamus, seemingly, and whatever opportunities he's getting. So yeah, like if that shit had worked, I think we're talking about an actual 4-star match. It would have got the full 4. It just didn't quite get there because obviously it only went 11 minutes. But yeah, man, it was a really fun match.
Another solid match that just like sticks to the ribs of the show.
Yeah. Finish comes on, Riddle after doing like his Broton, the flip senton. He hits the ropes and comes off the ropes trying to go for a moonsaulting something, but too bad. Sheamus hits that man with a bro kick in the face as he's spinning midair, very similar to the Ricochet Adam Cole spot that he had done a few times. It was a killer finish. So yeah, I thought I really enjoyed the match. Next match after that, Apollo Crews versus Big E in a Nigerian drum fight. Rich, what do you think the Nigerian drum fight was going to be before it happened?
I thought it was going to be Challenge Day.
Oh my god.
I thought there were going to be people playing the drums outside. I thought there were going to be elders around.
I thought they were going to close ranks and shrink down the size of the ring towards the waterfall. That's what you thought was going to happen?
Sure, why not? Have them fight on the boat.
Oh my god. Oh, what? Oh, okay. No, okay. You meant like the pirate boat. I was thinking you talking about another type of ship, and I was like, wait, what?
No, sir. No, sir.
What? Okay. So,
well, Hogan was there.
Oh my god. So this match was really short because they actually had the run in and the finish or whatever else that was nonsense, but whatever.
Hey, we were right.
What, did we predict this?
Yes. Someone's
gonna run in and fuck him?
Nah, we just said Apollo was gonna win.
Okay. Yeah. So, Apollo, great gear. Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, that spot he took where he took the Big E Uranage that normally where he sent somebody to the floor, or in combination where like Xavier was run in and basically catch him with like the double knees on the back against the Uso. It was actually Uranage him off the apron onto the bottom half of the steel steps. That looked gruesome. He landed on his shoulder. He's lucky nothing popped out. But yeah. He's a champion now, Intercontinental Champion. He has a character. He's one of the most improved promos of the year.
He's got a heater.
He has a heater. He can do pretty much anything athletically you can think of as a wrestler, and now he has his promo. Obviously, you know, there's going to be questions about her concerns for his future trajectory because of his height, but whatever. Everything that he can control, he's doing the best you could possibly ask someone to do. So it's up to them to figure it out now, because you can't say he's not a character. You can't say he's not a promo. He has everything you can ask a guy except for height.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. This match, maybe Biggie gets
like
elevation.
a 6-minute match, whatever.
Yeah, they didn't really.
Yeah, it wasn't. The angle was more important than the actual match.
Yeah, and they
I don't know what you do with Generalissimo Babatunde though, or Generalissimo what's his name? Dabakando. Or do we know his name yet?
I think his name, he's going to go by Commander Aziz. Yeah, they're taking this shit.
Are they really trying to play
there.
us like we didn't see this same dude on Raw Underground just months ago?
James, they acted like they had no idea who it is on the broadcast. Like, I hate that shit. Like, that's like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat coming back. He's not Ricky Steamboat. He's the Dragon. You know,
whatever, man. Whatever.
It's just the blatant like airbrushing of like, come on, man.
It's not even airbrushing. It's like it's an insult to our intelligence. It's like, bro, like we remember this, and it's like it's not even like we watch the show every single week, but we remember this. How the fuck can't y'all?
Yeah.
Or why the fuck can't y'all? It's wild. Anywho, Raw Women's Title match. Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. I thought it was a good match. It's nothing to write home about. It's like a 3-star, 3.25 type deal. Probably most likely just 3 flat. I liked some of the stuff they did. I thought the DDT off the apron where Asuka DDTs Rhea was wild. I think in a better match it would have set it off, but I think given the card, given the placement, like I feel like this has been better off as an opener than. Like, I feel like they should have swapped this with what happened with Randy Orton and The Fiend. But then again, you might just kill your main event if you do that. So who knows? Sometimes you got to sacrifice some shit if you don't want to book right. If you don't want to build your cards correctly. But man. It was a good match, but it was nothing special. I think Rhea and Asuka. I'm disappointed.
They had a worse match tonight on Raw. People were saying, and like Rhea was like botching a bunch of stuff. Like it wasn't a good night. So
that's crazy. I just saw Rhea carry a Raquel to like a damn near 4.5-star match. Like what is that? Was that New Year's Evil? Yeah, New Year's Evil. Yeah. So it's like that's crazy that like that's happening with Asuka of all people.
It's almost like it was a thrown together exhibition match that had no build, that just kind of came out of nowhere, and it was wrestled like and it was wrestled like it, and it was just kind of it was cool, like but it wasn't.
It was just a good match.
Yeah, it was just kind of there. I wouldn't have put the belt on Rhea Ripley immediately, just because it's like I think it's too much too soon for her. We'll see where it goes, but Charlotte's already back. So.
I think that division is so depleted that it's like, who cares? Like, if you're going to turn her heel, why she need to chase? Heels don't chase.
Well, Raquel Gonzalez did.
I wouldn't say it was necessarily a chase. I'd say that was a build-up to give her credibility to where, like, she goes from a nobody to somebody that is dominant, and then she gets her shot and she wins. I mean, I guess you could say that's a chase in a way, but like at this point, it's like Raquel was on WrestleMania last year in the best regular rules match last year. Like she finished second in the Rumble. It's like if you don't know who the fuck she is now, like I don't know, like. Who would you rather, given that the Charlotte thing got scrapped and the Lacey Evans things also got scrapped, it's like, if those two aren't it, who else is I supposed to face on the Raw side? That bomb out depleted division. I mean, you could have done Naomi, but then you could have done that, but it's like, they don't care about Naomi that way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, seems like that I don't know. Their depth is really weird on Raw. They're going to need the superstar shakeup badly. Like Bailey's going to need to come over here badly. And like,
you think that SmackDown can afford to lose Bailey when she carries the industry?
See, as they have Bianca Belair now, yes.
So yeah, main event, triple threat match for the Universal title. Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. You see that video package and you think that this was like this very well done thing, and like, nah, it wasn't. And I mean, you can say that for a lot of the video packages, but like, I really like the video package for this. All three of them had characters. All three of them seemed to have clarity on their roles and where they fit in. You could see, maybe not why Daniel Bryan hates those other two, but you could definitely see why the other two hate, why Edge hates Roman Reigns and what he stands for, and hates Daniel Bryan. You could definitely see why Roman Reigns hates Daniel Bryan and hates Edge. And, you know, they had the match. I like the touch of, it's a triple threat match. It means no DQ. So bring Jey Uso the fuck down now. Get him the fuck out of here so we can have a match for a little bit before you bring him back to eventually fuck us again. So that was cool. At least they didn't have him just like, oh, he's going to run in after. It's like, well, then why the fuck didn't he just come in at the beginning? Like, it's no DQ. So at least, you know, you can't even hold that against him. Like, he immediately went to cheating straight off the rip. Like on some of the baby shit, like straight off the rip, we gonna cheat. Like, screw it. I honestly thought like halfway through the match, after Edge had DDT'd Jay on the bottom half of some steel steps and they carted him off, I thought that was when Jimmy was finna come in. I was like, God damn it. Like, because we don't really see Jimmy that much no more, so it's like, right. Okay, now, you know, here's the other part of the Samoan coalition coming in to fuck up everybody. But yeah, like, really fun match. I thought they did a good job of explaining and detailing why one person is dropping out of the match at certain points to then just be a 2-on-2 at certain parts of the floor or in the ring at certain points. Like, 'cause they did a good job of like, somebody got hit with a pretty big move, so that person's really going to be down for a while, as opposed to, oh, they got basically like drop kicked and rolled out the ring. Daniel Bryan getting power bombed off the bottom half of the steel steps from Roman Reigns into the table. That was kind of scary. I thought he was going to hit his head on the floor on the way down, but it looked cool. I really like the, you know, Edge gets the part of the steel chair, gets a bar off the steel chair, wraps it around for a crossface. Daniel Bryan slaps him on the other arm, slaps on the yes lock. Roman Reigns is just, he's dead to rights, and Daniel Bryan and Edge are arguing over who's going to actually get the tap or what's going to happen, and they start headbutting each other, and that's how they get out of it. I really enjoyed a lot of stuff in this match. I really did. The finish with the concerto stuff, I don't like the idea of killing people to have to win matches. But then again, like, you know, like Tam Nakano did, just drop Julie on her fucking head with a starting screwdriver. But I think maybe it's a chair thing for me. That's kind of like, you gotta go to those lengths to get these people out of here. You gotta like chair. You have to like, because think about like a concerto.
Impale a bitch.
A concerto, like,
that should like end your career,
right? Like that should, like, if this was, I don't want to do if this is real, because obviously fucking not. But it's like, concerto's supposed to be like some shit that's supposed to take you off TV for like at least a month to the hospital and some shit, right? Like, the babyface here was to go away. Like, you know, when we talk about pilmanization, like, that's one of them injuries where like, you're supposed to be away for a while now. Mm-hmm. And like, to get that back to back just for a pin move, I was like, I'm okay with him pinning both, stacking them up and pinning both. I don't give a fuck. But, because like, I thought they were both weak challengers. And I quite frankly think he needs to be taken down by like some new encompassing ass kicking coming in, like a new baby face.
Hell, they I think they even weaker now. They got hold, I think.
Well, and they don't need to be challenging no more.
Like, and this is exactly what I was saying. Like, they put Edge in there as someone originally. The Roman Reigns Edge match. This was not for no Edge reclamation. This is so like they can keep the belt on Roman Reigns longer, and they don't have to actually beat someone that they may put in front of him. But as the title reign is going on more, I'm coming around to the side of
there is nobody.
There is nobody, right? And it's like this is what they wanted. They wanted it's like I always keep saying, it's every Roman Reigns push it's ever been, but now they can just kind of be natural with it. But I think the stacking them up on each other was a bit heavy-handed. I was like, are you fucking serious?
Okay, so I think maybe that's the reason why I don't really care about what they do with the bodies after they're both been murdered. Like, that's kind of my thing. Like, the concerto thing is like, I think after two people get concertoed, like, I don't give a fuck if he put him in 69. Look, if he had put him in 69 position, like on some Kenny Omega and Don Callis shit, and then pinned him that way, I wouldn't have cared. They're dead bodies. Like, who gives a fuck? They're dead. What are they supposed to do? Kick out? What are they supposed to do? Fight for themselves? They're dead. They're murdered. So, like, whatever. Like, I think I get what you're saying about the visual. Like, and then may harken back to Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man or whatever else. But it's like, Ultimate Warrior didn't murder a motherfucker with a concerto. If he did, he could do whatever he wanted to. He could have stuck his foot up Randy Savage's ass to pin him if he wanted to. It's over. So for me, I was like, whatever. Like they murdered these two dudes and pinned them. So whatever. Like I thought it was kind of funny, to be frank with you, but like, because I didn't think either one of them should have beat him. Like you said, like there probably is no babyface to come along to actually topple him eventually, unless it's probably Drew. We'll see. If Drew isn't on SmackDown, I'm gonna start asking questions of who actually is the plan for 4 months from now at SummerSlam, for later in the year, for potentially the Royal Rumble, for potentially WrestleMania, or whatever else. Because like there ain't that many answers. It seems like if you want to tell me it's Big E, if you want to tell me it's Cesaro, if you want to tell me it's Jey Uso, if you want to tell me it's Keith Lee, I'm not holding my breath on that. I believe like Drew is the only person I think like they would ever, or not ever, but like the only person I think like right now, like I would even think that Vince would even have any inkling of, yeah, I could see them setting that up. I can see that because obviously they did it in November. But any of these other dudes right now, I gotta see it before it even happens. I'm not seeing it before it happens. I have to see it before I can even believe it.
Yeah, they put Roman Reigns over really strong. Yeah. In this, and I thought it was a great match. Some of the triple threat stuff was like mildly annoying, but I mean, it is what it is. On that, I was happy to see Daniel Bryan get another main event.
Stole one.
Get it how you live. This is back pay. Like it should have been. Yeah. It should have been in the main event of WrestleMania 31. But whatever.
That's part wise, like this isn't 2014 no more. Like I think the people that thought he was going to get booed
can we? I was going to say, can we talk about
let me just give this my these
reactions.
I think the people that thought that like he was going to get booed or just like Roman Reigns
in an alternate fucking alternate reality and have PTSD.
I don't even know if it's PTSD as much as it is like they have an inferiority complex when it comes to Daniel Bryan because their guy's Roman Reigns and most people got that booed the shit out of Roman Reigns. Wanted Daniel Bryan instead, so there'll always be a thing where they'll never like them. So they'll never really like him especially when they ever paired together. Like especially Crazy Parker's like a lot of them actually like Daniel Bryan until he's in anything with Roman Reigns and they don't know how to act anymore. It's weird. Yep. Like I've seen some of them call Daniel Bryan the GOAT, and not like the Billy Goat thing. Like think they're like he's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But until he wrestles that damn Roman Reigns, if this script or the script gets flipped, it's really weird. But
I thought it was very interesting that we got that focused part of like the Roman you suck or the you suck shit to Roman, and it was like all y'all that thought Roman Reigns was gonna come out here and get cheered and shit. It was like nah, these boos as strong as they've ever been. Like the vitriol is still there.
Like and that's the thing that I don't get is like y'all wanted him to get cheered. It's like, but he's the heel now. Y'all wanted to be like reverse
overpowered both ways.
No, like
yep.
it's look like no, that's not how this works. Like if he ever turns face again, I think it will work and he will get cheered. But right now, he's the dastardly person that lords over the title and beats the shit out of people left and right, and cheats in every single one of his fucking big matches.
And also, never has regular rules matches really anymore. It's always some death match or a triple threat match or last man standing. A special guest
enforcer that comes out to hit a bitch with a chair.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man. But yeah, I thought it was a great match. It's one of Roman's better matches. Yeah, I thought I really enjoyed it. I don't. Let me think. I like this more than the Survivor or the SummerSlam 2017 triple or quad or Fatal 4-Way thing with Joe and Strowman and Brock, but like people love that match, which is like whatever. It's like Brock like takes a powder again in a multi-person match. Like I've seen it before, but
and the wrong person won.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, but I thought at least for a show that Sunday show to more or less stink outside of 3 matches, I thought like they finished it with a great match. So I was like, all right, well I don't hate this show, but I thought it was as opposed to first night kicking his ass.
I thought Edge looked good in this match. Had the white gear.
Hey, yes, his gear was raw, and also you notice there was a lot less gray in that beard and in that hair compared to the past weeks and months. You notice that, right?
I did not, but
yeah.
I noticed he grew the beard.
That man went to a beautician, or that man went to something that's over the counter to go and anti-age himself.
Like he needs to cut the beard. Like I don't know, because like sometimes when he cuts the beard, I think he looks weird.
I think he grew the beard out to make his face look less drawn in because of his age.
Yeah.
So I think that's what he did. Like because that's the thing people were making, but like. He's so lean now that it's also on his face, and it makes him look his age, as opposed to when he grew the beard out, he looks puffier. Mm-hmm. So it hides the fact that his face is actually really drawn in because there's more beard there. So yeah. He did a lot of work. He did a lot of work. Cosmetic business.
Dan Bryan and Edge, I don't think they could show their face in these streets after getting hoed and stacked up like that.
They should be on TV for a month. They both got murdered.
Y'all boys got to go on vacation.
Yeah. Like Daniel Bryan has a history of concussions, and that man just got chair to chair action. His brain was a chair sandwich, bro.
Crazy. I was kind of shocked like the way they did that finish, but Roman Reigns rides again. Yeah.
So only how many more years before he can get Hogan out the record book for main events?
He needs 3 more, I believe.
Well, all right. Well, I'm pretty sure we know what 39 is going to be.
Possibly.
Like 39 is going to be probably most likely going to be some rock thing in Hollywood. So, or not Hollywood, but like Hollywood adjacent in the new Ram Stadium. So, or in Eaglewood. So, like. Pretty much, I don't know what it could be other than like Rock versus Roman. So that's what you're looking for. We're 2 years out from that, so I don't know I don't know what's going to be 20 or 38, but I feel like 39 is pretty much in the bag. Like if Rock come out here for next year and he is the host of WrestleMania, you already know what it is. So, yeah, but I think that's a good place to leave it. Let's do this. Speed round for Takeover, or Stand and Deliver nights 1 and 2. I thought night 1 was better. I thought both shows were great. I thought night 1 was better. Walter versus Ciampa was incredible. Now we've joked about, or you've made jokes about like why has Ciampa like showed off the donut and stuff and everything, and why it's so great.
The man cut it, and he went back to the regular ring gear. Like that man looked like he hopped in a time machine.
Yes, and he also shaved his chest. So this wasn't just like this was fully thought out, because even 2018 Ciampa, when he's a champion, had chest hair. This man shaved the chest hair. He was like, I am going to come out here and, like, I'm not going to look 70, but I am going to come out here looking 55. Like, that's exactly what he went for. I'll be the most ripped up 55-year-old you ever seen in your life. And boy, that was a great match, man. I loved it. Like, just violent, everything you expect out of a Walter match, and just, Ciampa recognizing being smart, saying, like, I can't let this dude chop me to death. I'll get ate up. I'm going to work over his arm. I'm going to work over his hand. And Walter, like, ultimately, like, couldn't chop and do shit with his right hand for forever. So he had to start trying to fight with his left, and with his left is not nearly as strong. And Ciampa start eating Walter ass up. And then, like, we get to the point where, like, Walter hits that man with a power bombs him again, stacks up on him, and to pin him, and Ciampa has to kick, and when he kicks out, like, his neck made this weird funky looking thing to kick out, and then, like, basically Walter gets up, stomps him on the neck, and gets him up and chops him with the right arm and puts him away and pins him. I thought it was a great match. I thought it was the best match I saw WrestleMania weekend. WrestleMania week. You got the gauntlet match. I thought that Swerve was spectacular in that thing. It's unfortunate he didn't win, but it is what it is.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they won Bronson Reed, and he put over Bronson Reed super strong, but I would have much rather seen Gargano versus Swerve again than Gargano versus Bronson Reed going 15 minutes, because that second night, like, Gargano was trying to have his match, and he is very much when we talk about, like, the Sasha Banks matches that don't work. It's like, I am not lowering this difficulty. I'm going to have my match. Either you keep up or it fucks up. I don't care, because if it doesn't work out, I know I didn't fuck it up. And, like, Bronson Reed ran out of gas at certain points, or was doing spots, and it looked very, very slow in that match against Gargano. It was still a very good match, but it was well below what you expect out of Gargano on a big show. I'm jumping around a bit here. The MSK Legado and Grizzled Veterans match was on night one. That was a very good tag team match.
Saw that one. Yeah.
It was basically just spot fest, except for the story of Legado's damn good, and basically you hit your kill somebody out and kill it and get them out of a match move. The other team will get the other Legado dude out, and then it'll come down to us after we were in the final of the Dusty Cup, and MSK ended up winning. I hated this spot where, don't tap out, and, someone's gonna tap out, but whatever. At the end, MSK won. They were the right people to win. EO versus Raquel. They gave Raquel everything this match. EO whooped her ass, or basically just ran roughshod over her for like 75% of the match. It was basically like shine from the hill, but like Raquel was good early. EO took over and basically hit her with every big move underneath the sun, and then hit the moonsault, and then Raquel kicked out the moonsault, and they were like, "Oh, this title's changing hands."
I heard there was a lot of Flair Luger energy on this.
Running around into somebody, bumping into somebody, kind of.
Yep.
There was a lot of diving around in spots and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it was, gave her everything, kicked out of EO's protected move, and then Raquel ends up pinning her, so this is probably like Raquel's third best match. Second best match. It was better than, I think it's better than the first Rhea match, but at the same time, all very good matches. Like, she's a most improved candidate for Observer. I'm pretty sure she will be by the end of the year if this continues. Second night, Mission to Gargano match. The opening match with the cruiserweight belts, very good ladder match, but like it's tame compared to stuff you've seen in all these ladder matches now.
Seen a lot of ladder matches.
Yeah, like this is like some 3 3/4 4-star level stuff. I thought it was very well done, but it's like it's ladder matches. You kind of, unless they're like, only thing that gets me in the ladder matches now at this point are like multiple person ladder matches, kind of. So, and then also you had Legado run out like 2/3 down at the end of the match. It's like, well, why do you come out in the beginning? It's no DQ match, so whatever. tag match for the women's tag titles. It was an okay match. Ember and Shotzi ended up retaining. Shotzi went for a dive, and it was very similar to that Mayu dive against Yoshiko, where she dives to a crowd of people through the ropes, and no one grabs her, so her head just basically hits the hits the fucking floor. So it's like Shotzi, she, every big match she's ever in, she almost dies in it. Her and Dakota both are just wishing to hurt themselves. The Cross and Balor match, I loved it. That's easily the best Balor or Cross match. I think the story going in as far as Cross is going to blow his stack, and he doesn't have the gas, he's too big, and Balor's a stamina monster. I thought it worked. The twists and turns in the match were based off all that. It was well executed, everything. I like Balor killed it, and Cross was very good as well. They also did the callback to the O'Reilly stuff with the liver shot from the spinning back kick. Really good match. Cross ended up winning after going into deep water with Balor, and just ends up beating him. Better man. And then the main event, O'Reilly and Cole. It reminds me of the War Games match, the men's War Games match from last year. It's like, if you have the stamina to watch this match and see all the crazy shit they do that goes on for 40 minutes and love it, cool. I think it's a great match. How great? I don't know. But what I will say is, once you escalate yourself to murder and it's an unsanctioned rules match, I need the ref to get the fuck out the way and say, no, you can't kill this guy. It's an unsanctioned match rule. It's an unsanctioned rule match. I can murder him and you can't say shit. Get the fuck out the way. So when he said that to Adam Cole decked the ref and then did whatever he's going to do to murder O'Reilly, and then he looks at the ref like, you're a piece of crap. Why are you on the ground? It's like, you just punched him out. That's why he's out. And then they continue wrestling. They do even more crazy shit than what was already done that made the refs say stop it. And then O'Reilly at the end stacks him onto the business end of the chair, grabs the chain that was used during the match, wraps it around his leg, and does his dropping knee drop onto his back and basically kills Adam Cole for the win. I thought it was a great babyface win. There was stuff that happened in this match. I was like, I was waiting for you to see it, because I remember you talking about the Takeover 25 match between Cole and Gargano and saying you need a shotgun to keep Johnny down. You need a bazooka or some shit to keep O'Reilly down, because this was beyond what Gargano was doing in that match. That shit was wild.
Bro, so the match was so long. I watched this match with Jeremy, and I woke up right at the finish. I fell asleep twice during this match.
Yeah,
and
man.
It was like
40 minutes.
I was like, I don't know if that's me or just being tired or,
Bro,
having...
This match was great until that spot for me was great. And then that spot happened with the ref, and I was like... And then literally, I was, as much as I was in the match, I was on some this is like the making of some 5-star deal. Once he punched that ref, I put my hands up on mine and said, fuck this match. And I sat back with my arms crossed like this, watching this match. And then eventually the match kept going for another 15 minutes. And then, or maybe 12 minutes or something. And then eventually, it was almost like a restart, and it's almost like did a second match after that ref bump, and I got me into the match at the end. But I was like, I don't know what to say as far as how good this match is. There are people that think this match is the match of the year. There are people that think this match absolutely sucks. I think this is a great match, but I'm just basically saying 4.5 and washing my hands of it. I'll watch it again someday, but I'm not finna sit through another match for 40 minutes. I have to watch all the wrestling I had to watch this weekend, plus watching the first round of the Stardom Cinderella tournament.
What?
I'll watch it sometime eventually. I thought it was a great match. I thought they did a bunch of crazy shit, but it went way too long. It had no business going. It was another one of those matches like we talked about with Takeover, where
I was going to say,
it could be a great match, and it could be screwed up because you decide to go 10 minutes too long.
What I was going to say is, it has it feels like a lot of the similar vibe of the last Gargano Cole match when they did the weapons in the cage, where it was just way too much, way too long, way too kind of just the parts I saw, I don't know, I would have to probably watch the match again to give it a fair assessment.
They just went too long. Like, I don't want to paint your perspective on it, but like, it's absolutely a great match. How great is up to what you like out of wrestling and how you and what you're up against for time. Like, I remember watching the second night of Wrestle Kingdom, watching the Ibushi Jay White match. Like, there's a kick out in that match that where Jay White kicks out of a Kamigoye, and I was like, get the fuck out of here, man. Just end the match right fucking there. Why do you need to go another 10 minutes? Just end the fucking match. Like, that's the peak. You're not going to pass it. And sure enough, that match continues to go, and it doesn't pass that peak. And, like, people got to know what their peak is. Like, yes, that's a great peak of him murdering him, jumping off the steel steps, or off the top rope with the chain, but it's like, there were 3 other things that could have ended this match and it would have been perfectly fine. No one enough is enough and calling it quit. Like, you're already past 25 minutes, for fuck's sake. So, like, that's kind of where I am on. It's like, it's a great match. I don't want to sit for 40 minutes watching the match. I quite frankly don't want to sit for 30 minutes watching the match. I don't have the patience for that shit anymore. Like, unless you are some Okada, Omega shit, or you were some like Gargano Cole shit, like, nah. And even the Gargano Cole shit, for a lot of people was too much. But for me, I loved it.
Yeah. That's why I think I liked the Sasha and Bianca match as much as I did, because like in that 17 minutes, it was just like, yes, like I felt like they gave me everything that I was looking for, and it wasn't like just 10 more minutes of being unnecessary.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, like I still, both of those shows are, both Takeover shows are 2 of the best shows of the year. I was looking at cage matches like between New Year's Evil, Vengeance Day, these 2, like they have like right now so far this year, like they have like 4 of the top 10 or 8 shows this year so far according to Cage Match. As far as just the wrestling, like, and you know, that's what NXT is. It's a wrestling fucking gold mine. And last year it was kind of weird that like they had the struggles, but like we're past that. So like I'm back. I'm happy seeing that like NXT is back to being the match factory that it had been in previous years. So I'm glad that's fixed up. But you know, new champions on both nights. I think it's the first Takeover where both you get a new women's champion and a new men's champion. The Raquel thing made all the sense in the world. They built her for a full year. More than a full year, like 13 months. Cross is getting back to where they wanted to do over the summer. We'll see what they do. Like, there's plenty of opponents for him to have good matches with between Dunn. Dunn's already teased a match with Cross, and O'Reilly eventually. Like, there's plenty of people and talented people for him to wrestle with. So, like, if you can have more matches like that Balor match, fine. Fine. But we'll see.
Sounds good, man.
Yep. Yeah, that's the end of the show. Thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using to listen to this with. Also, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Social Suplex and pick up some official Social Suplex merchandise. Also, yeah, go to the Red Circle and hit us up with a donation, man. We put in hard work. So, you know, if you
so
want to
lay that money down.
Yeah, we appreciate what you're listening to. Go ahead and do that. And hit us with some real money, not that Usher money. Not that Usher money.
Yes, we do not want the big face Ush. We're not looking for that. You know, we are not looking for the Ush card money. You know?
We do not want no Raymond bucks. Do not do that to us. Yeah, and check out the other shows on the network. This show, One Nation Radio, Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky Clive Wrestling Podcast, Grumman Watches Shit, the Grave Consequences Podcast, 8-Bit Suplex, All Things Elite, Great Match Generator. Yeah, man. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.